This one is a pretty neat letter. This one comes from Gio Diaz. Gio Diaz. And this letter is: the day has come for the punks to save the world, or at least Hollywood. Who do you turn to when the world is burning? Punk isn't music or fashion or a phase some of us go through. It's a philosophy. It's about the individual. It's critical of and often completely anti-authority. It's about having your own thoughts and making up your own mind. Your own music taste, not what the authority wants you to like. Your own fashion, not what the authority wants you to like. Your own politics, not what the authority wants you to like. And most importantly, having pure integrity and not giving a fuck what anyone else thinks about any of it. Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk in Into the Spider-Verse, is, in my opinion, the best character in years to represent what punk is. Hobie is the key to saving the Spider-Verse, and punk is the key to saving the world now, if they choose to. Robert, I believe you know Chris Gore from Film Threat, and I want to let you know how I feel about what's been happening over there. I think they're in a special place in the entertainment industry, and I think they need all the allies they can get, not just to support them, but to let them know that they have been thrust into a position they didn't ask to be in, but they are the only ones who can save us. Film Threat is punk. Always has been and always will be. The magazine, the 90s forums, their site, and their YouTube channel has decades of integrity. We are talking proven, uncompromising punk integrity. Hollywood, however, while being the authority in entertainment, has never really had any integrity whatsoever. I state that as a fact because I am positive no one would debate me on that. I mean, that's Hollywood, baby. Hollywood has gotten by without it until now, but this time it's clear that the ship is sinking. From animation, writing, directing, to really all the creatives that make the magic, talented people are reaching out for help. The authority is failing them. It's failing us as viewers, and Hollywood, the authority, is killing itself. Where can anyone turn? Who can they trust? Who's been a proven source of integrity that can make the voices be heard? The fucking punks who told you so for years. That's who. On a recent stream, Chris Gore was beside himself. We are not a news site. We're not a trade. We review indie movies and have fun. He seemed confused as to why so many people were turning to Film Threat. And I think he needs to understand that people are turning to Film Threat because of the proven integrity, the proven intelligence, and the proven anti-authority of cinema's cheap little indie punk rag. It's their choice. They could just let it all burn. To quote Watchmen's Rorschach, and all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, "Save us," and I'll whisper, "No." Or they could be like Hobie Brown and see the Miles Morales of the creative industries and take them under their wing and join them in creating a movement that can change the world. Robert, I'm hoping you agree with me, or at least can give your insight into what is happening. I am hoping you can pass along some of these thoughts and give these guys some support. Robert, you have the well-coiffed hair and pretty boy professional aesthetic, but you can't hide what you are. You're fucking punk, man! Fuck yeah, dude! People try and pick up girls. We call them assholes. This did not happen to Pablo Picasso. Why, he could walk down the street, girls could not resist his stare. Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. Anyway, that's my Repo Man break for you. This is a great letter, and thanks for the compliments. I appreciate that. That was from Gio Diaz. Well, Gio, there's a lot to unpack in that letter. I think you're right, and I think, in a way, this is not unprecedented. This is not an unprecedented time in Hollywood history. In the middle of the 60s, Hollywood was working on an old school paradigm. The studios were dying out. They weren't making the kind of money. I mean, 20th Century Fox had to sell off their backlot which became Century City because they'd spent so much money making Cleopatra, and that didn't really work out for them. In a world where we have the civil rights movement and we had the Vietnam War and protesters and rock and roll that we'd never heard before becoming, they didn't have punk, but they had rock and roll. And things were changing. And what happened was you had young, call them punks, the Mavericks, and Peter Fonda, Born to Be Wild. You had Easy Rider getting made. You had all these young, you had Coppola, you had, well, not Spielberg yet, you had Scorsese. You had even Roger Corman and the people coming out of his, well, Martin Scorsese was one of them, making stuff like Boxcar Bertha. You had all these filmmakers that had a lot of things to say that were counterculture, that were totally against the grain of what Hollywood wanted to do. And they came in and they changed Hollywood forever. Read the book, Peter Biskin's book, Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, is a great document of that time. And it was because the status quo wasn't working anymore. The only people that can create truly great art that speaks to people's souls, and when it comes to being a punk, that's one thing, but being a punk artist, the punk movement came out of people identifying with, the Sex Pistols or whoever that was in the UK, but we also had people in the United States, the Ramones, and all kinds of people that started in the 70s. Whether it was glam rock and it became punk, it was artists that were doing their own thing. And it was not necessarily for money, although they wanted it to come, certainly, but it was the people that gravitated toward the authenticity of the art that was being made. What I think has happened it's funny to say this, but I just saw a clip, and I don't know where it came from, but it was Martin Scorsese himself who was talking about, look, we're in a position now where every human being has access to the means of production to make a slick Hollywood film. I'm speaking to you on an M1 Apple laptop. That's what I'm broadcasting right off of right now. There's enough firepower in this laptop in terms of editorial software, in terms of effects software, that you could make I could use my iPhone and this laptop and the software that's in this laptop, and I could make a movie. I could mix it in 5.1. I don't think I could mix it in 7.1, but I could do a 5.1 mix in this laptop if I wanted to. And I could make a feature film that is Hollywood caliber. I dare say I could do it by myself. I wouldn't want to, but I could. The question that I have is, where are all the punks? Where are all the punk rockers that want to make these movies? Where are the people? Where are the Easy Riders, Raging Bulls that changed Hollywood, that were coming out of the 70s or 60s into the 70s? Where are they? I was taken to task by a viewer asking, where are all the new filmmakers? And this filmmaker, this hopefully he'll be a filmmaker, got angry with me. Called me out and said, I'm one of the new filmmakers. Well, it's one thing to say that. See, people that are actually making art don't call themselves artists. They don't, some do, but I don't like those people. The people that are making art are out there making art. They're out there doing their thing. They're doing whatever they want to do. And I would say, I've talked about it before, but the two brothers that made Talk to Me, cutting their teeth on TikTok and Instagram, they went out and they made their first feature film, made a lot of money. Now they have a career. The pressure's on. They have to follow it up. But, I think that there is a group of filmmakers that we're seeing emerge. But the problem is they jump, because of the way the system works, right into the studio system. Because if you've made a decent independent movie, of course the studios are going to get you. Colin Trevorrow, he makes Safety Not Guaranteed for $1 million. Spielberg, oh, I love your movie. Here, have Jurassic World. Zach Krieger, who made Barbarian, made a deal for whatever clandestine movie he's going to make that no one knows anything about. Weapon, it's either Weapon or Weapons at Warner Brothers. He gets the big money, but I would say that he maintained his integrity because he's directing his own script. He wrote it. He didn't take some job on a Hollywood franchise property. And you know what? I'll bet you that a guy like him is going to continue being his own writer-director. He's their new Christopher Nolan. He's Warner Brothers' new Christopher Nolan. If he gets past the sophomore slump. I don't know. I haven't read that script. I'd like to read it if anybody's got it. But we're going to have people like him. And you're seeing filmmakers. I mean, I think Robert Eggers, despite the fact that The Northman was a $90 million movie, I still think that he has integrity as well. He's doing Nosferatu. No one asked him to do a remake of Nosferatu or even make Nosferatu. But he's doing it. He's going to the beat of his own drum. You watch The Witch. The Witch is a banger. The Witch is a movie that is a master class in developing atmosphere. So I agree. And by the way, other than The Northman costing $1 million or $90 million, did The Lighthouse, was that hugely expensive? Was The Witch hugely expensive? No. Barbarian, $4.5 million. $40 million return on that one. That's why Warner Brothers takes a look at him. Writer, director, apparently he had another script in the quiver, ready to fire. Knock his arrow, knock his new project, but bam, sells to Warner Brothers. I mean, that's what we need more of. We need more writer-directors. We need more auteurs. And I'm talking about filmmakers from all across the spectrum. For all of this bitching about, well, we need more voices. Great. If we need more voices, then go be them. Don't look for more representation in Hollywood. Go be that representation. And I know that's easier said than done. But the world is ripe. I mean, we've got the technology. And if you want... not everybody has to work for studios. Even Scorsese said that. He said the studios are broken in this thing that I watched. He was saying, Coppola famously said that maybe the next Citizen Kane will be made in some girl's basement, that she'll make it when she's 12 years old in her parents' basement, and that'll be the new film that we exalt as one of the greatest ever made. That isn't happening now, and yet there's all these people cutting their teeth making great content. I mean, while he's not a filmmaker, look what MrBeast has done. MrBeast has surpassed every single entertainment concern, and his audience, I mean, he's probably the most, not just with his subscribers, but the most. I watched a video today. I know he's experimenting with Elon Musk and X. I watched a video today where MrBeast, 15 minutes long, rescued 100 dogs from shelters and spent a ton of money, put them all up, and said, we are not going to stop until we've adopted all 100 of these dogs. Now, criticize him all you want. He has turned altruistic intent and helping your fellow man. He's figured out a way to not only do that, but also monetize it and turn it into entertainment. And if you look at what MrBeast is doing, I would say MrBeast is a fucking punk par excellence. And no one can buy him. He is outside of buyability. I mean, I go to the grocery store and you've got his Feastables chocolate bars, which aren't bad. He's got cookies, and he's making puppy videos where he's getting 100 puppies from kill shelters adopted. I mean, that, my friends, that is changing a paradigm. Now, and I don't even know how old Jimmy is. What is he, like 23 or something? 25, maybe 28? I don't know. But that guy completely changed. I mean, he is outside of the realm of Hollywood. No agents can touch him. No one can touch him at all. And as much as they might want to, because he makes more money than everybody with the amount of money that he spends. I mean, they can't, the Super Bowl wishes they could charge, like what he could charge for 30-second commercials on his videos if he wanted to. Unbelievable. I would say that, and he's creating 15-minute entertainment. I have to tell you, I watched that dog video this afternoon. It just popped up in my feed. I watched it. I ask you, that 15 minutes left. I mean, I have 3 dogs. I've raised 2 litters of puppies in the last year. I might be raising a 3rd. I love dogs. I grew up in a cat household. My mom's a crazy cat lady. And I watched that video, and it warmed my heart. And I don't think I can conceive of spending 15 minutes watching something that left me more satisfied than a MrBeast video. Now, laugh all you want. And you can say, okay, but that guy's a self-made man. He cut his teeth on YouTube, and he figured out what he was going to do. And yet, whether he's going to Africa and building wells, whether he's helping blind people to see, whether he's getting dogs adopted, you can be as cynical as you want about it. But he's doing it. He's doing it. And all these other people that are opining on what MrBeast is doing, what are they doing? And I would say this is what's wrong with our culture right now, is we have the technology where everybody has it within their power to revolutionize their own life. But it's hard, and it takes talent and vision. And I think that's what being a punk today, Gio, means. And we have that. We have it. It's like in Ghostbusters. We have the tools. We have the talent. Well, maybe not the talent. That's a hard thing to come by. But, you know, I think it's a cool thing. But I'm optimistic in terms of that. And all the marginalized voices and the people that are complaining, I want to see them go out and make films because they can. And people should go back and watch the dawn of the explosion of indie cinema in the 80s. Go back and watch Spike Lee's She's Gotta Have It. That if you watch that movie, yes, you can tell Spike Lee's talented. Movies in black and white. And if you look at that, or go back even further, go back and look at the movies of John Cassavetes. I mean, I can't believe I'm even going to say this, but watch the movies of Henry Jaglom. I personally am not a fan of Henry Jaglom's movies. I know he's like a trust fund kid or whatever, but still, following as a friend of Orson Welles, I get all that. Watch those early movies. Go back and watch those things. If you want to watch a science fiction movie, Coherence. Now, do I think Coherence is a great movie? It might not be a great movie, but I really enjoyed it. And in terms of low budget, movies like Shane Carruth's Primer. Go back and watch Benson and Moorhead. Go back and watch Resolution. Go watch Spring. Go watch The Endless. Watch their early movies and see what they did with very little. They had very intriguing ideas, just like Shane Carruth did with Primer. Now, you might not love these movies, and they're certainly not Marvel films. But if you spend 30 or 40 or 50 grand on a movie, this is what people were doing, by the way, in the 60s and 70s. There was all kinds of regional films that were made because, of course, they had drive-in circuits and there was much. But we have something better than the drive-in. We have what you're watching right now, the internet. I mean, you can self-distribute. Look what Eric July did with his Isom comic. Spent some money, spent his own money. He produced a 96-page graphic novel that he produced, and then he went and he pre-sold it or sold it directly to his fan base, made millions of dollars. Why shouldn't somebody be able to look at Chris Stuckman? Crowdfunded his film. Now, and he was very upfront, very transparent. When he needed more money to make the film better, he told you exactly why. Do I think it's going to be a great movie? Don't know. But the thing is, he did it. He went out and did it, made it happen. He's an author. John Campea, same thing. He made movie trailers a love story. He made his feature film The Anniversary. Thought it up and did it. I wanted to make a movie about Taylor and the John Campea crew, the search for Taylor's father. I still do. We could have shot it over 2 weekends and had a 90-minute movie and sold it directly to the people who watch the John Campea show. Even if, say, 330,000 subscribers, if 20,000 people bought it for $5, it was $100,000. And if we spent only $20,000 making it, we could pay everybody and, put some money in the coffers to go make another one. It's just a question of people want to do the work. And I think we're in a great position now because, look, man, one of the things with Apple Vision Pro, with those kinds of things, the world, I mean, my God, the internet gives people a chance to self-promote, show your movies, charge people, start YouTube channels to promote your own work, and then go out and make it. I mean, I should be doing more stuff, but I'm not, because I'm mortgage poor. I have no money. But I'm still trying to do things. You'll hear the audio drama. It's coming soon. But Gio Diaz, great letter. Thank you for this.